Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tampa Bay Lightning Throwback 2009 franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we had the 2009 NHL draft, and it was kind of an intriguing draft. It wasn't the best draft by any means, but we did get ourselves a top 6 forward prospect, which is good at least. Hopefully that person's able to develop into being at least like a fourth liner before the series ends. But we had some pretty interesting results, like Victor Hedman ended up getting drafted by the Boston Bruins. John Tavares still went to the Islanders. Matt Duchene still went to the Avs. Chris Kreider went to the Thrashers. OEL went to the Vancouver Canucks. So it was a very interesting draft for the most part. But anyways, we're up here in free agency looking to add some pieces to our team a little bit because we do not have the best depth. We don't really have a whole lot of cap space either, so we got to try and keep that in mind. But very excited to see what we do in the 2009-10 season. As you can see, this is basically what we got so far, but we're likely going to add a few pieces just to help solidify our team a little bit and maybe get our team into the playoffs this year, because we are on the cusp of it. Last year we missed by not too much, I'd say. So if we could be a little bit better, there's a higher chance that we might be a playoff team before the series ends. But anyways, before we get into free agency and halfway through the season, I do have 3 comments to go over. So the first one is from Pens Gaming 7, who says, like the Niskanen trade, it was solid. In free agency, I would target a right wing, even though you didn't include St. Louis when counting, and a right defenseman. Not sure exactly who, but somebody who has experience but isn't too old. Also ripped the draft. Yeah, the draft was pretty terrible. We didn't really get any great prospects other than that top 6, because if we go to our unsigned right now, you can see here there's like, these guys were all drafted by us. And then we also drafted, where's the top 6 forward prospect? I don't remember what position he played. Oh yeah, right wing. Yeah, this Walls guy. So this Walls guy, at least he will get to play in the AHL right away, but I think he might be able to develop fast enough, because with this roster build, a 73, 75, those guys could get into a fourth line type of roles. So maybe this guy makes it before the end of the series, but if not, so be it. But yeah, hopefully he develops into being something for us, because we do need more right wingers, obviously, because St. Louis is the best and he's going to be a pending free agent soon. And then we don't really have anything else other than that. But Pens was saying to target a right winger and a right defenseman in free agency. And then also there's a bunch of other stuff we need to sign in free agency too that I listed on a piece of paper that I'll get to in a bit. The next comment is from Saturn Otaku. It says, I love these alternate hockey history what-if timelines. Tough seeing Hedman on the Bruins hurts my soul. And yeah, Hedman on the Bruins is one of the weirdest things to me. They are going to be probably a team that I could see winning a Stanley Cup within these first few years, just because of the fact that obviously you still have Zdeno Chara, you have Dennis Weidman. The rest of the defensemen like Stewart, Ward, Ferentz, all kind of more top 6 defenders, but Victor Hedman should be able to jump into being a very good top 4 defenseman for them. Like, imagine a top 2 pairing of Chara and Hedman, or maybe it's Chara the top pairing and Hedman is the second pairing, something like that. But regardless, this defensive core is going to be filthy. And when you have goaltending like this as well, it's going to be a really good defensive team at some stage. And they also have the forward core to boot too. I'm really surprised they missed the playoffs in year 1, but they should develop into being a very good team within this next season easily, I guess. Because they missed the playoffs in year 1, but I think they honestly could have just barely made it in. This year, I think they make the playoffs and they might go far in the playoffs. And the last and final comment is from LeafsFan161, who says, can you get Matt Sundin and then flip him to Toronto so he can retire a Leaf? And I don't think it's realistic. I'm not going to really do that type of thing where I just sign a player just to trade them away. But who knows, maybe the Toronto Maple Leafs GM will go out and sign Matt Sundin. I don't really know if they need somebody like Sundin now. Yeah, they don't really need somebody like that. I guess Grabowski got some good growth. Stajan is there as well still, Jamal Mayers, and they technically could use a really good center, but at the same time, Matt Sundin's dropping off. He probably wants to go to a contending team, and I don't think this Leafs team is going to be a team that necessarily goes on a run. But you never know. They could. They don't really have the best goaltending. Right now, their goaltending, they definitely are in need of a goaltender free agency-wise, because they have Toskala, and they have James Reimer, who is technically an AHL goalie still. So they better sign a goalie, or else that's going to look pretty bad. But anyways, let's get into our free agent signings, because there is a decent amount of them we need to do. I wrote down that we need to sign ourselves a fourth line center and a depth center, and then we also need to sign that right wing, or a good right winger like Pens was mentioning, a right defenseman like Pens was mentioning, probably for the top four, a depth defenseman, and I'm going to also, I think, sign a goaltender to be a 1A, 1B situation with Mike Smith, just to give us maybe a better chance at making the playoffs. So let's start off with the goaltender, because why not? We could go with like Craig Anderson, to be honest. I think I might honestly go for Craig Anderson. He didn't have the best season in Florida, but he was kind of more of a backup role. Let's go with Craig Anderson. I mean, 2 years at 16.25 is actually not really that bad. I think I'm willing to give him a 2-year deal. Let's do it. Craig Anderson, come to Tampa, please. I could always go for Niedermacher, who I think actually played for Tampa around this point in time, but I don't really think I want to do that just yet. Unless Anderson signs somewhere else, then I'll go for Niedermacher. But so there is the goaltending. Defensively, we need a right defenseman for our top four. There's not really much out there. There's a lot of older type guys like Adrian Aucoin. Aucoin's not really that bad, but 3.4 is a bit expensive. Curtis Foster would be actually intriguing, and he did play for Tampa around this point in time. He's 28. There's one team interested in him. There's also Eminger, who we could bring back, but he wants a 5-year deal, which I'm not really willing to do a 5-year deal. Anton Babchuk's a RFA, right? Yeah, I am. If he was a UFA, I would really like Anton Babchuk, because that guy was kind of underrated. Komisarik's not really what I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm not really liking these right-handed defenders too much. I think Curtis Foster would probably be the best bet. Who else is interested in him? Detroit. Let's do the 1-year deal. Actually, I could give him a 2-year deal as well, like Craig Anderson. Let's do that and give him a little bit more money, just because we know that Detroit's also in on him. And Detroit's a good team still, I think, so they might be able to snag him before us, which means we might be stuck getting a veteran type of guy instead, like Ken Klee or Boucher or Adrian Aucoin, if they're still there after the first few days of free agency. And then we need ourselves a right winger. So I don't really want to sign anybody too good on the right wing side, because obviously we already have St. Louis. But Nikolai Zhurdev is still somebody that's intriguing to me, because he's 25, so he's young. He is going to be getting paid a lot of money, but hypothetically, if he doesn't work out with this team, I should be able to trade him quite easily. He did just come off 59 points with the Rangers, only a goal in 4 games in the playoffs. Doesn't really fit our coaching system too much, but he might be intriguing. There's also like Peter Sikora, but he's 33 already. Trying to give Stamkos a good line mates to surround himself with. What do I want to go with here? A lot of these guys are in their 30s though. Freddie Schuster as a young right winger wouldn't be bad, but he's not really an offensive guy. Kopecky, he's more of a depth option. Really doesn't put up a lot of points. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do here is go for Zhurdev. He's going to eat up a good chunk of our cap space, but I think we will be able to move his contract if he doesn't do good within a year. So let's give him 5.25 for 3 years. Might be a bit of an overpay, but I think Nikolai Zhurdev would be a good piece to his team, and I want to get this team into a playoff scenario as soon as possible, like I said. So I could have went for somebody like Martin Havlat, but 7.6 is a lot of money. That's half of the cap space we have left. So I think Zhurdev on $2 million less might be a better bargain for us. We also need ourselves a 4th line center and a depth center if possible. So let's go down here. What do we want for a 4th line center? Oh yeah, I was looking at Marcel Gottsch, wasn't I? Marcel Gottsch still is intriguing to me. I think Marcel Gottsch will be one of them. There is a team interested in him though. Dallas. Dallas is a pretty solid team. We might end up getting stuck with somebody like Vernon Fiddler, which is not really that bad either. Fiddler does win faceoffs. I do like that, but he's listed as a 3rd line checking forward. There's also like Sammy Paulson as a 4th liner that could win faceoffs too. Or do we go for somebody like McCormick? But McCormick's an enforcer, so it's like, I don't know about that. I think I'm going to go for Marcel Gottsch and hope that we could beat out Dallas here. Give a little bit more money, because why not? And we need a depth forward. I could go for Blair Betts, but I don't really know if Blair Betts would complain about ice time. There's not really a lot of good depth options out there, so we might have to go for Blair Betts, which I'm not opposed to. Because we look at Blair Betts, he's a depth forward, but then you get to like 69 overall guys listed as depth forwards, and I don't want those. So yeah, I'm going to bring in Blair Betts as the other depth option if he wants to accept. Let's advance a few days and see if we get all those guys in, which hopefully we do. And we'll also take a look at what the AI is signing this offseason, because it could be very intriguing if any players go to teams that they actually played for and whatnot. Okay, let's see what we got here. Gotch is in, so Marcel Gotch, our new fourth line center. Blair Betts decides to go to Edmonton. Damn, that sucks. So we do not get ourselves that depth center. We need to maybe find a depth winger at least. Depth centers are usually kind of guys I always bring in just for the face-off scenario, but we might have to find any depth forward at this point. Craig Anderson has accepted, so Craig Anderson will be a 1A, 1B situation with our goaltender Mike Smith. Curtis Foster has jumped in, so Curtis Foster will be jumping to our top 4. And then that means we're just waiting on our right winger, which is Jurdev. And he decides to go to the New York Islanders. Why would you go to the Islanders to play with John Tavares? Like, goddamn. That team was terrible last season. Well, that's a big blow. I was thinking Jurdev would be our big signing, but there is still the older guys out there, which is good. So I might go for Brian Giunta. Because he's only 31. The other guys are all in their later 30s. Because Anthony Stewart, no offense to him, is not really much of anything. So, yeah, I think I might go for Brian Giunta. Or I could go for Sikora. Let me take a look at Gianna's stats. 29 and 49. That's actually really solid. Yeah, Gianna was almost point per game. And he's only asking for 6.45. I think I'll give Gianna a contract. Let's give him a 2-year deal at 6.55. That's good with me. That way he's on the same type of like contract length as Martin St. Louis. So that will eat up a good chunk of our cap space. And then we also didn't get, who was it? Oh yeah, our depth centers. So we need to find ourselves a depth forward still. Like, let's sort by overall and like see who's still listed as a depth forward down here. Because we aren't going to be able to get a depth center, it seems like, unless I go for somebody like Beijing. And look, there's actually like Bobby Holik, but I don't really want to bring in Bobby Holik. Because he is pretty old at this stage. McCormick is still there. Kopecky as a depth forward wouldn't be a bad option, actually. He can play center, too. He's not the best center, but just use him as a depth piece. You know what? Since he's like only 27, might as well get a guy that can play both positions. That's not that bad. Let's advance another day, see if we get Kopecky and if we get our right winger Giunta. Let's see, those are the main ones we want to get in here. Kopecky signed, so that's our depth guy, and Giunta has accepted too, so there's a nice addition. Now we have 2 really good short right wingers, St. Louis and Giunta. I like it. I like it a lot. So I think that should make up our team pretty well. Let's make it sure though a little bit. So we got our 4 centers, LeCavalier, Halpern, Stamkos, and Gotch. Likely Stamkos second line center, Halpern third line, and Gotch fourth line. I like it. Left wing wise, we got Prospel, Malone, Pettinger, and we also will be playing Evgeny Artukin as a left winger. So we got our 4 left wingers. Then right wing wise, we got St. Louis, Giunta, Downey, and Hall, and Kopecky is depth. Same with Martins Carsoms. I'll take it. And then defensively, we got Mazeros and Niskanen, Krejcik, or Ranger and Foster. And then the other one, like probably Krejcik, would be with Smaby. We could use a depth defenseman still. Yeah, we could still use a depth defenseman because I don't think we have anybody in the system. Yeah, we don't have anybody in the system. So we need ourselves a depth defender. That's the only thing we need really left. And then we are ready to advance to the end of July to see what signings there was. This might be a little bit of a longer episode because I want to take a look at the free agent signings, but I get you guys will really like this part of the series as well. Also, I really appreciate the support on the series so far. We've been getting like a lot of views per episode, which is awesome. So let's keep it going, keep the momentum going into NHL 24. That'd be awesome. Adam Party is a depth defenseman. I think I'll take that. Let's go with it. Adam Party is a depth defender. We'll take him. Because he might honestly play on our top 6 instead of somebody like Mats. Maybe we'll see though. Okay, we do not want to trade Jeff Halpern. We're not trying to make any trades here. I didn't offer this guy a contract, so oh wait, no, that was one of our RFA holdouts. I was gonna say I didn't offer that guy any contracts, so that's interesting. Let's advance another day. Adam Party's into Tampa, so that's good. Let's go to the end of July and take a look at what the AI signed. If there was any crazy signings, any players that we weren't expecting to sign somewhere. Because this offseason will definitely change the complexion of what 2009-10 is going to be like. Because who knows, maybe somebody's going to sign a really crazy player. Or maybe they're just going to completely offload a bunch of pieces via trades. Like this offseason definitely will change things a lot. And we probably will get a really random result on who wins the Cup in 09-10. Like it might not be Chicago. Let's take a look at the signings after the first month. We won't take a look at it at the end of August just because August's signings are likely the depth type of options. But this is the big month for free agency. So let's take a look first if there's any trades. There was one. Radek Bonk goes back to Ottawa. That's actually pretty sick. I like that. So Bonk and a 6th round pick go to Ottawa from Dallas. Dallas gets some prospect in a 4th rounder. Interesting. So Radek Bonk getting to end his career potentially in Ottawa. I like that. Let's see what else we got here. Kevin Weeks is now in Anaheim. So breaking news. Kevin Weeks has signed a 1-year contract with the Anaheim Ducks. Clemens in the Philly. Not going to read them all out, but if there's anything funny, I'll read it out. I think Rob Niedermeyer was already in Anaheim. Let's see. Toronto giving a chance to Nigel Dawes. Oh yeah, that was one of the guys I was potentially looking at. Should have maybe gone for him, but oh well. Oh well, Toronto's a better home for him probably. Let's see. Looking for any crazy things. If you guys see anything I missed though, you could always bring it up in the comments, but I'm going to look for more of the big signings here. Moen goes to Dallas. Didn't Travis Moen play for Dallas at one point? I feel like he did. And yeah, I think it was near the end of his career, if I'm not mistaken. Unless I'm just completely thinking that's happened and it didn't happen. Mellicar going back to Pittsburgh. So we lost Joseph Mellicar to free agency. And he goes back to Pittsburgh where he started his career, so that's cool. Martin Gerber goes back to Anaheim, so that's also another thing. He goes back to where he started his career, so I'm liking that everybody's going back to their original teams. It's kind of neat. What else we got here? Breezeball going to Colorado. That's another guy that used to play for Colorado because he went from Montreal to Colorado to Montreal back to Colorado now in this, so that's neat. Anything else to bring up? Fernandez signs in Colorado. Sador signs in Montreal. Dalton Brashear goes to Washington. I don't think he was in Washington to start the series, was he? No, he might have been. I don't know, actually. Patrick Letta also signs in Washington, so a lot of grit over there. Colin Frazier in St. Louis. I think he actually played in St. Louis like in the last few years in real life. Can't remember, though. Anything else that I want to bring up? Adrian Coyne going to Phoenix, where he played in real life. Ty Conklin, I think, was already in St. Louis, but if he wasn't, he signed with a team that he actually played for, so that's kind of neat. Let's see. Anything else that's crazy cool? Philippe Boucher going back to Pittsburgh again. Matthew Schneider going to Atlanta. That's realistic, because I think he did go to Atlanta around this point. Heavy Bullen signed in Toronto, so that's where Nick Heavy Bullen went. Is Toronto gets himself a goaltender. Like we said, they were lacking that goaltender, so now they're going to be running Heavy Bullen in Toscala likely. Eminger gets a 5-year deal in Calgary. That's crazy. Bobby Holy goes back to the Rangers, which is where he played a good chunk of his career. Love to see it. Brendan Shanahan goes to San Jose. It's weird. Zednik to Chicago. Matthias Olin going to Washington. Joffrey Lupul going to Chicago. Alex Tanguay also goes to the Islanders. So the Islanders are trying to make some noise and surround Tavares with some good players. They brought in Jurdev and Tanguay. So that top line of Tanguay, Tavares, and Jurdev, if that is the top line, that'd be awesome. That's pretty good for the Islanders to start building up that core. But Dallas did sign Radek Bonk in free agency and immediately traded him away, which is kind of weird. Robert Lang in Montreal, like he played in real life. Steve Sullivan going back to Chicago, where he played. I love it. Saku Koivu re-signs in Montreal for 1 more year, which means he's not going to be heading to Anaheim yet. Antropov got a 6-year deal in Philly. Okay. Kovalev signs with Chicago. Camilleri going on a 6-year deal with the Habs. Was he with the Habs to start the series? I feel like he wasn't. Because if he wasn't, then he going back to a team that he used to play for. Ryan Pratt going back to a team he used to play for in Colorado. Havlat gets a 6-year deal in Columbus. Yeah, pretty cool free agency period. Pekka in Minnesota. Pyatt in Pittsburgh. He played there at one point. Fanaganov gets a 1-year deal in Detroit. Toronto also brings in Derek Morris. Jordan Leopold gets a 5-year deal in St. Louis, where he played at one point. Manny Malhotra in Nashville. John Madden in Vancouver. And that's pretty much it. So, a lot of big signings. I think there might be still some big free agents out there, if I'm not mistaken. I wanted to see who is still a big free agent, if there's anybody else we should be looking for. Marian Hossa is the big one. He's still out there. I am surprised it's taken Marian Hossa less long to make a decision on where he wants to sign. Anaheim's the only team interested in him, so he might end up becoming an Anaheim Duck before the start of the 09-10 season. Let's go another month just so we could kind of find out where Hossa signs. And then we'll get started for the season. Like I said, I want to go to the halfway point at least, maybe a little bit before then, because I don't want these episodes being an hour long for you guys. We're already at like 20-something minutes, but we should be able to still get a halfway through the season in this. But I am very curious on where Marian Hossa will go. Because in real life, obviously, Hossa signed with Chicago, and he finally won that Stanley Cup in 09-10, because after losing 2 straight years, he had enough, and he finally won. So maybe whoever he goes to wins the Cup this year. That would be pretty awesome. Because obviously that guy deserved to win a Stanley Cup at that point, because when you lose 2 straight Stanley Cup finals, and you were on both of those teams, it's like, yikes. Let's see. Did Hossa sign anywhere? Let me just take a look free agency-wise, see if he's gone off the list. He is gone. And now you just got a bunch of discarded players pretty much still there. A lot of depth goaltenders, too, are still in free agency. I'm surprised no teams are signing them up. But let's take a look at where Hossa signed. Looks like Raycroft was still a free agent, too. There was some other trades that happened, like Sanford got traded to Florida. Adam Foote goes to Columbus. Oh, man. Foote is now bounced around between Colorado and Columbus. That's funny. Marc-Andre Bergeron to St. Louis. Wallin Kalinin to Nashville. Let's see. Let's just skim through this and see if I can find Hossa. Curtis Joseph went to Vancouver. That's his dead body pretty much because he's not really that good at this point. Raycroft goes to Florida. Let's see. Where did Hossa go? Because he's the big one. A lot of these other guys are just AHL players. Let's see. We're looking for Marian Hossa, of all people. Brent Johnson goes back to Phoenix, where he used to play. Mark Denis. So a lot of backup kind of goalies going at this stage. So Sanford was signed in and dealt, which is funny. Manny Legacy goes to Anaheim. And Hossa also goes to the Islanders. Geez, the Islanders are making some noise this offseason. Because now I think you're going to be playing literally Tavares with Hossa and Tanguay. And then likely the second line will have Zhurda. That's exactly how you run a team, kind of. You draft a really good player like Tavares, and then you surround him with some really good veterans. So that's a really good deal there for the Islanders, who had, I guess, a lot of cap space to spend. Good on them, though, to add some good pieces around John Tavares, because that's exactly what you want to kind of do with a first overall selection. So I bet you Tavares should easily win the Calder this coming season. If he doesn't, I will be kind of surprised. But let's go ahead here and edit our lines a little bit. Make sure they're set up the way we wanted them to. I want Artukian on the left side. Oh, man, that's a minus, though. Let's move our Downey down to the 4th line then. Put Adam Hall on this line. There we go. That's good. Our top 2 lines both have +5. Wow. That's good. That's a really good top 6. I think with our top 6 alone, we should be a playoff team, but who knows? Is that worth it? Probably not. Yeah, I'm liking the looks of this team. This team should do well this year. Hey, nice. Let's go. Yeah, this team should do well this year. We need to call up one more depth forward, don't we? Yeah, Carsons. Martins Carsons. I would like to play him in the AHL at some point, but obviously right now I still want to use him as an NHL depth guy until we can't use him anymore. So we will call up Carsons, and he will be a depth piece for us if there's any injuries. But I'm really liking the looks of this team. I am liking it. Let's see. Stamkos is not on the power play, so I gotta put Stamkos on. Why are you putting Matt Pettinger on the power play but not Steven Stamkos game? I don't understand that at all, but it is what it is. There you go. Stamkos is now on that one, and he should also be on this one instead of Halpern. There we go. Perfect. Okay, that's all good and ready to go. So, is our team a playoff team this year? We're about to find out. I don't know how we rate compared to other teams, but we should be a really good team this year. Let's get through the preseason, and then we will take a look at the first game of the season, just compare us to Washington and see who's the better of the two. But we should be a playoff team this year, I think, based on our roster, if our top 6 produces at a good level. Because adding Gionta is going to help out a lot with the offense. He was really good last year for New Jersey. He should do really well here for us. 1-0-3 in the preseason. I didn't realize we only had 4 preseason games, but whatever. Not a great preseason, but that is okay. Let's see what Washington is rated like, because Washington was the team that made the playoffs, I think, last year, if I remember right. So I want to just see how we compare overall-wise to them. Let's see. 90, 86, 84, so much worse. They're 90... What does it say? Why does it move so quick? 90, 86, 86. So they're a little bit better goaltending-wise, but we're pretty much tied on everything else. So I'm thinking this team's a playoff team. You guys could drop your predictions down below and let me know what you think, if we're going to be a playoff team or not, because I think we might be. But obviously, this game could just completely crap on me too. So let's go a month at a time and not waste any time, because we obviously want to make a good chunk of simming in this episode too while we're at it. And yeah, we're off to a great start, 6-2. Obviously, we could just fall back down to earth, but this is exactly what we kind of need. And Le Cavalier has been injured. That's not great. We'll just go replace player, but that's not a great injury to have to start the year. Vinny Le Cavalier is our top guy, so at least at the moment. Let's see what else we got here. Le Cavalier is back. That's good news, because obviously Thomas Kopecky as a top-line center is something that would never happen. There we go. Good first month, 9-4. We had 3 games in that month against Atlanta, which is kind of funny. Okay, so a pretty solid first month. Let's go another month. Had to make sure my Elgato was not frozen again, because I hate when my Elgato freezes. But yeah, I think this team is definitely due for the playoffs. We are off to a really solid start. Mike Smith was never injured. As long as we just keep on the momentum. But then again, also the way the league is structured, there's a chance that we might play a lot of games early on and some team might not. And they might be able to find a way to knock us out because of that. So, oh, 3 straight games where we allowed 7+ goals against. What is that? What is that? Yikes, that's not ideal. Yikes. I don't think I've ever seen that. Jeez, man. 16-11-1. We are still second place in our division. Who's leading us in points right now? St. Louis. 30 points, 28 games. How is the goaltending numbers holding up? I don't really like taking a look at stats already at this point, but I do want to take a look at the goalie numbers. Oh, Mike Smith has been pretty tragic. And Craig Anderson's been the better of the two. Not ideal. We honestly might let go of Mike Smith once his time is up here. Or we could trade him away for a different goaltender, but not really sold on the goaltending at the moment. Might be the defensive play, though. It's probably because of those 3 games in a row that we just completely let in tons of goals. So, because literally over this 3-game stretch, like losing 8-0 to Atlanta is not great considering they're below 500. But literally during that stretch, we allowed over 20 goals in 3 games. So we got to be better defensively. That's one thing for sure. Let's see. How much games have we played? We played 27, 28. Let's go another month. See where we're at. Hopefully we can get some more wins together here. Niskanen has been injured with a fractured jaw. I don't like that. Let's go replace player, but damn, that sucks. We're kind of having a little bit of a struggle, and Party has now been injured too, so both of our defenders are down, which means the forward has to play defense, which is not ideal, but Niskanen has returned. We've got to take out... Actually, Niskanen was put in immediately for Party when Party got injured, so it's already been fixed. I like it. Thank you. We're not trying to trade our top prospect yet, but maybe eventually that would be in the cards. Maybe has been injured with injured elbow, so Party's going to get thrown back into the lineup. The defense is getting injured a lot. Should I run maybe still, or should I run Party? Who has been the better of the two? Party has been +5 in 4 games. I like that. Maybe has been a -3, but he does have points. Let's keep maybe as the depth defenseman for now. Maybe that will change things around a bit. 23, 14, and 3. We are still second place in our division, only behind the Caps, who are running away with it. We've played 40 games, so we need one more game left. Martin St. Louis at 48 points, so the top line is doing really well. Let's get through this last game before we take a look at some player stats at the halfway point. Let's see. Hey, another win, and the Islanders are way above 500. The Islanders are literally going to go from dog crap to being really good within a year, which is crazy. Okay, let's take a look at team stats and player stats so far at this point in the season. I think we're definitely a playoff team. Do we have a good enough roster to win a Stanley Cup? I don't really know. I do not really know. Let's just go to the Eastern Conference, not the entire league at the moment. So right now we are situated as the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference. Boston is also up there, but they've played 4 less games than us. The Islanders are also up there, but they've played 4 less games than us. So right now I think we're more around the lower half of the bottom of the Eastern Conference in the playoffs, like the 5th spot. Because I think the Islanders and Bruins would definitely pass us. So I think we're more of a number 5 team at the moment, basically. But in terms of like goals for in the Eastern Conference, we are a top 9 team, so that's good. We are one of the worser defensive teams at 3.15. We've allowed more goals than we've scored, but we're in a good spot, which is weird. It's probably because of those 3 games, so like I mentioned. Our power play has been absolutely tragic, though. So we need to fix our power play maybe a bit. Our penalty kill has been really good, though. So we're a bad defensive team, but we're good on the PK. We're a good offensive team, but we're not good on the power play. Weird. 7-2-1 in our last 10 games. I am curious, though, on who's leading the league in terms of points right now. Let's see. Who is the best team in the NHL? Where do I sort points? Oh, it's right here. The Pittsburgh Penguins are the top team in the league by a long shot. 34-5. I didn't even realize that. Wow. Who is the worst team at the moment? The Edmonton Oilers. Hey, that's about right. That's about right. We are around that point where they're drafting Taylor Hall and all that stuff, so that is good to see. But Pittsburgh is going to be a threat this year. Is Chicago in a playoff spot? No, they are not. Chicago's having a rough time this year. Well, that kind of sucks, but oh well. Okay, so there is that. Let's take a look at our player stats so far. So let's start off with these centers. LeCavalier over point per game. He's been good as per usual. Stamkos, still not doing relatively well. We might need to put him with some better players than that. 20 points. He's on pace for a better season than last year, but not by much. I don't know why he's not scoring a lot. Like, I made him a really good threat in terms of offensive awareness and shooting, so he should be good. Maybe it's the coach. Yeah, it's probably the coach. That's something we could look into for next season if we have another season, is find ourselves another coach. Because this guy is not a great scheme fit for Stamkos. Halpern has not been great either. Marcel Gottsch. So a lot of bad plus minus on this team still. Prospel's been good as per usual. Malone has been solid but bad plus minus. Pettinger as well. It's always the top line that's good plus minus wise, but everything else not so much. Gianna is on 22 points. I like that. It's not bad. It's not great either compared to what he did in New Jersey. Adam Hall, Yeah, there's definitely some problems with this team. I mean, we're still doing really well, so maybe we just run with it, but Mazeros is on pace for only 46 points this year compared to the 62 he had last year. Not ideal. Curtis Foster's been pretty solid. Same with Paul Ranger. Niskanen has been I don't really know. He's developing well, though. So maybe Krejcik and Party. Not really sold on some of the stats on this team. And then, yeah, Mike Smith has been not that great. He does have our 2 shutouts, but he's got an 895. And then Craig Anderson's been a pretty solid backup. Let's take a look around the league for fun, too, at this stage. Let's see. Crosby's leading the league in points. What a surprise. Pavel Demitra up there. Shout out to Pavel Demitra. Henrik Sedin's up there. Ovechkin, Daniel Alfredson, Martin St. Louis up there for us. Gabrick. Who's the best goal scorer right now? Alex Ovechkin. 37 goals in 46 games. Jeez. Man, this guy's just... he's in his prime, so it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Best defenseman right now is Gonchar, who's well over a point per game. He's 30 points ahead of Nick Lindstrom. So Gonchar's been helping out Sid a lot, it seems like. Holy shit. Gonchar's a cheat code. I didn't realize he was going to put up that much points in a season. Last year he was over a point per game. This year he's going to be way over a point per game, I think. He might break 100 points. And goalie-wise, so far, Fleury, the most wins, most shutouts, is a 4-way tie. He weighed Turco, Mason, and Letnin. Vezina leader right now seems like Turco, based on the save percentage, but goals against wise, yeah, it's probably between like Nabokov. Actually, it's probably going to be Nabokov because Vokun's played a little bit less games. I'm going to say Nabokov wins the Vezina this year, but Fleury's going to be up there too. So that's intriguing. And how's Tavares doing his rookie season? Not as good as I was expecting, so he must not be playing on the top line, but he does have 19 points, which is pretty good. It's 10 points more than the next closest. Like Matt Duchene's already playing as a 73, which kind of is a bit weird, but oh well. And I don't know why Ryan O'Reilly's playing already. Actually, no, that makes sense, but only 5 points. A lot of guys are under simulating. And then you have OEL, who's apparently great at defense, which doesn't make sense. Goalie, actually, wow, Victor Hedman's only played 3 games and he's got 3 points. Are they scratching Victor Hedman in Boston? Because I would be kind of mad about that. But yeah, the best player in the league right now is Sergei Gonchar by 9 points. Gonchar might win an Art Ross. Oh my god. I don't think that's something I saw in my bingo cards when I started the series, is Gonchar winning the best point getter in the entire league. But here we are. That looks like it's going to be a reasonable thing unless Crosby has a better second half. God damn. Okay, so there's that. Final thing, let's take a look at the trading block to see if there's anything out there for trades for next episode. And I'll also quickly show you guys draft class stuff, not that it matters right now, but you can see Taylor Hall is supposed to go up there. There's also a generated guy, which kind of sucks because I want Hall to go to Edmonton. There's also Sagan. There's Tarasenko, Kuznetsov, Mark Stone. So you got some pretty good players in this draft. Cam Fowler. And in like goalie situation-wise, you got like Freddie Anderson, Philip Grubauer, Jack Campbell, Peter Mrazek, Calvin Pickard, Scott Wedgwood, Louis Domingue. So there is a lot of players in this draft, which is awesome. But last thing we need to take a look at is the trading block. Let's see what is out there if we want to upgrade our team and make them better defensively. Denis and Legacy, if we wanted to bring in a new goaltender. Chris Kreider's on the block by Atlanta. Goddamn Atlanta. You got to build up with those guys, man. You can't just be wanting to trade them right away. Knubel and Mayer. I almost said Meyer for some reason. Goddamn. Ben Guite, Corvo, Gill, Haviland, a lot of defenders there. That would help us out defensively, probably. They're all on pretty much 1 year left. Corvo's been pretty good. They're not really good defensively. Haviland's actually been good defensively. I do like Nick Haviland, but I don't really know what we want to flip away to get him. Cristobal Huey is on the block. What else we got here? Tyson Berry's on the block by Chicago. That's funny. What else we got? Yuri Letnin. That would be a good way to help out with the defensive play. Brendan Morrison's on the block. Andrew Hutchinson. Anything else intriguing? Wisnowski, Penner, Steos, Kodalik, Morrow. Edmonton's fire selling pretty much. Florida's got Cullimore on the block, who used to play for Tampa. LA has Calder. Justin Williams would be great for a playoff scenario. I don't know if he actually plays good in the playoffs in this game, but I mean, obviously he's Mr. Game 7. That'd be kind of interesting. Hanzus, Ozzy Vananen, Mike Komisarek. What else we got here? Daryl Sador, Roman Hammerlick, Rob Scuderi. Yeah, there's defensive options out there for sure that we could use to upgrade our core if we want to. Walling, Backman, Kalinin. Like, I think we definitely could look to upgrade from Smaby / Party. Like, one of them will be our depth defender still, but we could easily look for an upgraded top 6 defenseman. I think that would be a great thing for us. Islanders are trying to get rid of Hunter, Waite, Park, John Sim, and Tim Jackman, even though they're really good right now, which is weird. Ottawa just has prospects. Same with Philly. Adrian Aucoin, Jovanovski, and Sauer on the block. Same with Brent Johnson. Todd Fedoruk. Pittsburgh just has prospects. It's kind of funny that they have a call Goski they drafted. Generated guy. Anything else? Just prospects mostly here. Toronto's got Toskala on the block. What a surprise. How bad is Toskala doing? Oh, he's in the AHL, so they must have signed another goalie. He's been great in the AHL, like elite in the AHL. God damn. 25-2-3 record? I don't think I've ever seen that. In a 1.44 goals against and a 934 save percentage. Well, Vesa Toskala apparently is an elite goalie at the AHL level. But at the NHL, not so much at this stage. Jose Theodore's on the block. And that is that. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tampa Bay Lightning 2009 Throwback Franchise Mode here in NHL 23. So in next episode, we will get to the trade deadline. We'll make some trades to probably get our team into being a full-on good playoff team. Because we're a good playoff team right now, but we need to definitely work on our defensive play a bit. And hopefully we make the playoffs in the second half of the season. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.